Thank you, Madam Chairman, and congratulations to each of you on your nominations and for being there. Mr. Putnam, I want to come to you. We had a good hearing yesterday with our airline execs, and we had a little bit of conversation about spectrum. And I'm sure you've seen that the FAA had come up, they were voicing some last minute opposition to 5G deployment and creating problems that 39 countries have already deployed 5G. Nobody has had these, and these problems are concerns. And DOT does have some significant spectrum holdings. And that mid-band spectrum, we're going to need to, if it's not being used, if it is fallow, we need to get it back. We need to recoup it. We need to auction it and get it out there. So I would like to hear from you how you would see working with the NTIA and with the FCC to ensure that spectrum is going to move into the pipeline and get there for consumers, and that we are wisely managing the spectrum.
Thank you for your question, Senator Blackburn. Certainly, there is great economic value associated with providing additional spectrum, but at the same time, we need to ensure, as a Department of Transportation and certainly with the Federal Aviation Administration, that the provision of that spectrum is safe and that it does not interfere with critical safety systems like radio altimeters, which I know is the
Okay, well
subject.
then let me ask you this. What is it that the other 39 countries are doing where they've had no problem that we are not doing?
Senator Blackburn, it's a great question. Many of those countries have actually implemented controls on the level of power associated with the transmitters in those areas. They have geographic restrictions, relative to airports and other locations.
Do you think this is a solvable problem?
Senator Blackburn, I do believe it is a solvable problem, which is why the department and the Federal Aviation Administration are working with FCC, working with the communications providers and the aviation industry to try to address those, to craft those mitigations so that we can come up with a solution that works both for safety and for telecommunications.
Okay, so what kind of timeline do you see as being a workable timeline? Because no one else has had any of these problems. We are looking at the importance of 5G and that rollout, not only for security here in the country, but also we look at it as a competition issue when we talk about China. So I find it very interesting that all of a sudden, out of nowhere, come these reservations and these last minute concerns, which quite honestly are appearing, the more we hear about this and learn about it, they appear to be unfounded concerns.
Senator Blackburn, with regard to your original question in terms of timing, we're looking at this as a top priority of the department and the Federal Aviation Administration. And so really looking at weeks and months to craft those solutions given the decisions of the FCC. These were issues that were raised by FAA years in the past. And the sense from the department is that they had not been fully addressed. And so FAA did need to address those. They are real and significant concerns as identified by the aviation stakeholders yesterday.
Okay.
That being
Let me
said,
move on to Dr. Cliff, if I may. I'm about out of time, but Dr. Cliff, autonomous vehicles and the deployment of autonomous vehicles. I'd love to hear a couple of things from you about what you think are the steps we need to take to ensure safety in this near-term deployment of the AVs.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. We really need to optimize safety as these technologies are being piloted and testing and research is occurring. One of the things that we have done recently is the standing general order, which requires reporting of critical safety data to NHTSA on a timely basis. So that tells us information about whether vehicles have any safety problems, whether there's defects that need to be addressed, and any other critical safety information. As well, we really haven't taken anything off the table, so we're trying to ensure that our current safety standards are maintained in place as innovation occurs. And so we want to optimize safety while we allow for that innovation.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you. There were several people that I know